Please be seated. Well, so you have a choice here. What do you want to hear me preach about? Do you want me to hear me preach about what you should do with your talents and all your money? Or do you want to hear me preach about Judgment Day, huh? Take the pick. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? All right, don't worry. I'm not gonna ask you to choose. Even though we're in the middle of what we call the commitment season at church, a time when we're all reminded to consider actually what we do with our talents. I gotta say, as I was reading Zephaniah and thinking, first of all, about how unusual it is that we get a lesson like that, and second of all, about how disturbing it is to hear a lesson like that, I thought to myself, okay, I think it would be taking the coward's way out if I didn't have a go at it. So I will. But I can't help, because we are in the middle of our commitment season, to invite you to go home and consider this notion about that gospel lesson. Consider the notion that in all of our talents, whether we're talking about talents in the modern use of the word, meaning our gifts or our abilities, or whether we're talking about talents in the biblical use of the word, where we're talking about units of money, all of our talents are a gift from God. They are given to us. And if that's the case, then do ask yourself this question. So what kind of steward am I of these talents? Where do I fit in that gospel story? How willing am I to take these talents that are gifts to me and use them for God's purpose? Now you ready for me to talk about Judgment Day? Before I do, because I'm aware that sometimes by the time we get to the sermon, that first lesson is lost in blurred memory, I do want to just very quickly read that first lesson for you again and ask you to turn to it yourself and read along with me. Listen to how it begins. Be silent before the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand. The Lord has prepared a sacrifice. He has consecrated his guests. At that time I will search Jerusalem with lamps, and I will punish the people who rest complacently on their dregs, those who say in their hearts, the Lord will not do good, nor will he do harm. Their wealth shall be plundered, and their houses laid waste. Though they build houses, they shall not inhabit them. Though they plant vineyards, they shall not drink wine from them. The great day of the Lord is near and hastening fast. The sound of the day of the Lord is bitter. The warrior cries aloud there. That day will be a day of wrath, a day of distress and anguish, a day of ruin and devastation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpet blast and battle cry against the fortified cities and against the lofty battlements. I will bring such distress upon people that they shall walk like the blind, because they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood shall be poured out like dust, and their flesh like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's wrath. In the fire of his passion, the whole earth shall be consumed. For a full, terrible end he will make of all the inhabitants of the earth. Okay. So, just out loud, register for me. So, what thought, what feeling kind of comes to mind as you listen to that lesson? Just say out loud. Dude, what else? What? Fear, thanks. What else? Angry. What else? Ancient ruins. Great. What else? Darkness. Great. What else? What? Dread. Sadness. Up there? Punishment. Red Sox 2014. comes to Judgment Day, I don't like to talk about it. I'm not sure what I think about it, and I certainly am not looking forward to it. But here it is. I came across this comment from another preacher who said, well, really, there are two kinds of preachers. The kind that get really excited to preach about Judgment Day, and the kind who avoid preaching about it at all costs. To that I would add, the ones who get excited about it probably shouldn't be doing it quite so much. And the ones who avoid it at all costs, maybe we should talk about it just a little bit more. Well, so you know me well enough to know what camp I'm in. It's not an easy topic to talk about. And here it is. So look, let's go to Zephaniah's proclamation, this prophet. There's no mistaking as he begins that he is speaking with anger, right? I mean, his opening words are, be silent for the Lord God. That's just like getting stared down and saying, you sit down and shut up. Right? Be silent for the Lord God. And then where do we go from there? We hear about this sacrifice. And you need to know that for Zephaniah's audience, that sacrifice, they know that they're the ones that are about to be sacrificed. They know that they're the ones who are going to be searched and judged. God takes a lamp and looks into the corners of our hearts. There's no place where we can hide. And God sees what? I mean, did you hear what it was that God was judging these people for? What it was that was bringing ruination and all the dark, gloomy stuff that you talked about? It was complacency, self-indulgence, indifference, dismissiveness. That's what's spoken of here by Zephaniah. It wasn't debauchery, it wasn't murder, it wasn't mayhem. It was complacency and self-indulgence and indifference and dismissiveness. That's what's bringing about the doom and gloom, the distress, the anguish and despair. Should I go back and talk about money? And look, understand something here. Zephaniah's audience, the Judeans, he's talking to the religious folk. He's talking to the people who go to temple all the time. He's talking to the people who are educated, who fancy themselves as faithful. He's talking to the people who are supposed to be a light to the nations, who are supposed to be an example of faith. Is it me or is it just getting hot in here? I know I'd be crying and wanting to leave too. I would. It's a hard message. This judgment day. What are we to do with it? So look, it's right there at Sanderson's face. We can't avoid it. And I have to say, I do believe that God judges us. I do believe that God expects much of us. There's a church back in my former diocese in New Hampshire, and they had as their sort of tagline, a place you belong, whoever you are, just as you are. And it's a lovely, warm, embracing tagline. And I always thought, I think you got it just a little bit wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I think as a church, we need to accept people, whoever they are, just where they are. Absolutely. And I think about our God, that God loves us, whoever we are, just as we are. No doubt about it. But I think that God also expects us to be open to change a little bit too. Also, challenges us to be transformed by the gospel that was so radical that it got Jesus hung. To be changed by the image of grace and love and forgiveness that was so radical that people drove Jesus out of town. I think God does expect us to be changed. Loves us no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what we are, but wants more of us. But here's the other thing I think about Judgment Day. And that is, I think that God waits and hopes and wants more than anything in the world for us to be changed. And waits and waits and waits and hopes and checks and wants it to happen. Time and time again, God's waiting and hoping. I really do. I mean, I'm persuaded of that because I believe in the God who's in the story of Jonah. Remember the story of Jonah, where God saves the Ninevites at the last moment, much to Jonah's frustration. And because I remember the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, that parable where the laborers who were hired just at the last moment of the day, but then were given the landowner's full reward at the end of the day, again, much to the dismay of the earlier laborers. I believe in that God is waiting and hoping and watching because I believe in the words that Jesus spoke to the thief who hung on the cross next to him at his crucifixion, when the thief repented, he said, "On this day you will be in paradise." I believe in God who watches and waits and hopes because I believe in the promise of our baptismal covenant, which assures us that there is no sin that we can commit that God won't forgive. No sin, no how, no way. God will forgive us. I believe in the God who watches and waits and hopes because I believe in a God who is like the father in the parable of the prodigal son, who watches and waits and hopes for his wavering and wandering son to return, and when he does, runs out in the field to meet him, throws his arms around him, embraces him, gets a cloak for him, and throws him the biggest party that they've ever had. And invites everyone in to join the party. God watches and waits and hopes. Hopes that our hearts will change. That our complacency might turn to passion. That our self-indulgence might turn to generosity. That our dismissiveness might turn to faith. God watches and waits and hopes. And if we just get a glimmer of hope, God embraces us and invites us to join in the party. That parable of the prodigal son says so much to me about Judgment Day, about God's judgment for us, and about how we get in. Because God goes out there and reaches and invites us to come in, and at the end of that story, the only one who's not in the party, enjoying all of God's good blessings, is who? It's the oldest brother, because he refuses God's invitation. The only way I believe the only way we really end up on the outside looking in is when we refuse God's invitation. It occurs to me that Judgment Day, maybe it's not so much about God's judgment of us as it is about our judgment